Hi, I'm Jessica from Jessica Wonders, and this is the 10th video in my Cooking Up My Can series where I try to come up with creative and new meal ideas using my home canning. If you haven't seen the series, I will leave a link to the entire playlist so you can watch from the beginning if you want to. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to see more videos from me. Let's see what I made up with my cans this week. Good morning. This morning I am going to make a recipe that I found for jam and bread pudding, which I think sounds amazing. I'll post a link in the description below for the recipe that I am loosely going to try to follow. It asked for challah bread. I don't know how to say that, which is very similar to brioche, but I don't have either of those. All I have is this bread that I got for cheap in a grocery haul. So that's what I'm going to use. It's just like a white bread. I'm going to half the recipe. The recipe asked for a 9x13 pan, and I'm going to make it in this 8x8 pan. I have bread, some eggs. This is icing sugar, 1 1/4 cups of, I used half and half. This is just regular sugar, and then I'm going to use this strawberry rhubarb jam and vanilla. I don't have unsalted butter, so I'm just going to have to live with salted butter. Jam and bread pudding for breakfast this morning. I should say that Mr. Wonders is super excited about it. Bread pudding is like his favorite thing, or one of his favorite things on earth. Quarter-inch thick is pretty skinny. I'll do the best I can. Okay, I've got all of my bread ready to go. Okay, we're gonna butter this dish with salted butter. That's what we've got. So that's what we're gonna use. Should get some more unsalted butter for the freezer. Butter the dish. It did say to put the bread in the first layer of bread in the dish and then spread the jam out on top, but I think that would be really hard because the bread seems pretty weak. Anyway, there's my strawberry rhubarb jam. It's so good. I'm pretty excited. I'll probably be making some more pretty soon. I think that what I'll do is I'll measure out the measurement, a little less than half a cup of this jam, and then kind of butter the bread as it's going into the dish, because I think it'll be easier to like spread the jam that way. A little less than half. A little less than half a cup of jam. 3/8. This is actually pretty runny jam, so it might not be so bad. I spread the bread on the bottom first. I don't know if it said to take the crusts off, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to care. Rip to fit. Okay, fill it all and then spread the jam out. This actually doesn't look like very much jam for this whole thing. Oh, that's okay. It's not too bad. Not too hard to spread it out. We'll manage. Supposed to look a little nicer than this, maybe. Yeah, but this is what I got going on. It's rustic, right? How did I forget that? When it's messy, it's rustic. Brilliant. Okay, jam spread on there. You know, if it was me and I wasn't trying to follow this recipe, I might add a little more jam than that, but that's what we're gonna try. And then another layer of bread. I feel like I have a little bit too much bread, or I cut them too thinly possibly, but we're just gonna still put it all in there. There we go. Rustic. Makes everything smell good. Okay, and then we just pour this over everything, just like a bread pudding. Oh, that says push it down to soak. Push it down. There we go. It looks pretty soaked. Okay, now I'm gonna brush it with 2 tablespoons of melted butter. That's a thing that's gonna happen. I mean, that will make it wonderful, right? For sure. Let's put a ton of butter on the top. Heck yeah. It's like every kind of breakfast just smushed all together. 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, we're gonna cover with foil. Bake for 12 minutes, uncover it, and bake for another 12 minutes. In the oven it goes at 375. We're gonna work on the glaze. We're gonna add half a tablespoon of the cream to the icing sugar. It's like you're making like an icing. It's pretty thick. We're gonna add some other things to it. I'm gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of this jam to the glaze. How can you go wrong with icing for breakfast? There's the glaze. I almost used up one of these jars of strawberry rhubarb jam. It's been a while since I actually emptied like a whole jar. Here's a partially empty jar. It doesn't look that much different, but we're gonna put it in for another 12 minutes. That smells pretty good. Okay, so that was 24 minutes. And now we put it on broil. So we're gonna put that glaze on here. Glaze. It says to put 1/4 of this glaze on it. About 1/4. I'm not sure how to get it on here. Like just sort of spread it out maybe. Yeah, that seems to work. Wow, does that ever smell good? Wow, how could it not? When the glaze gets a little bit hot, it's easier to spread. This looks so fabulous. Back in the oven, on broil. I don't know if that's quite long enough. It looks pretty round though. I did add a little bit, maybe half a teaspoon of milk more milk to the glaze to kind of make it runnier, because it said to now drizzle this glaze over the top of this bread pudding, and it wasn't very runny, so drizzle the glaze and then serve. It's a lot of glaze, really. It's a lot of sugar in this bread pudding. Still not super drizzly. There you go. I will post a link in the description below if you would like to try this bread pudding that uses up jams. I'm always looking for new ways to use up all the jams that I love making. I love making jams. I just have trouble eating a lot of them, so I always have a lot left over. Looking for new ways to use jams all the time. So I love this bread pudding idea. We'll see how it tastes. This hardly seems like breakfast. Maybe need a sharper knife. No, this is going fine. Why am I trying to be fancy? I don't know. I want triangles. I want triangles. Oh, yummy. In the picture, it was nice little triangles. Quite work out exactly that way, but it's pretty close. Look at it from this side. It is so sticky. It's so sticky. I'm pretty sure Mr. Wonders will want more than one small triangle serving of this. Let's try it. There's the jam in there. Jam and glaze and sugar. Wow, that's really good. Of course. Yummy. I'm glad I used the rhubarb jam, because rhubarb just isn't quite as sweet. Adds a nice little flavor. Okay, I'm just gonna eat all this really fast. Wow, that is so good. I think that this will probably be maybe 2 breakfasts. So good. Thumbs up from me. Jam bread pudding. Yeah, Mr. Wonders is gonna like that.
This one.
What? Why don't you just take that one too?
No, when I'm not a pig.
You do. You don't want the small one?
I just want this much.
How much?
So much.
There you go. Is that? Good. He likes it. I have this grape jelly that didn't really sit. Used some on some French toast. It was really yummy, but I'm gonna try and add it to my iced tea. Grape jelly. I remember Snapple used to make all the flavored iced teas, so that's what I've been doing. I've tried peach juice from Peaches, and that was really good. So I think I'm gonna add this grape juice to this iced tea and see if after that I need to add more sugar. Have to give a huge shout out to Robin Swan for the suggestion of grape jelly lemonade. So I have about 1 liter of tea and about maybe half a cup of this grape jelly that didn't set, grape syrup. See how it's kind of thought about setting for a minute. Just kind of mix it up. All the things you can put in tea. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't need any more sugar at all. Yummy, grape iced tea. For lunch today, I don't know if you caught the grocery haul where I got those 4 loaf pack of bread for really, really cheap. It turned out to be like 88 cents for a little loaf of bread from the Flash Food app. That was really great. So this is one of those loaves. I've cut it up pretty small. I'm going to use the rest of this sandwich pizza pack. What's left in here is pizza pepperoni. I'm going to use this pizza sauce. This is the can that I'm trying to use up, cooking up this can. And this is some mozzarella cheese I have, some butter for frying, and we're going to do up some pizza grilled cheese. Pizza sauce. I have really watery pizza sauce, so I feel like if I put the pizza pepperoni down first, and then I put the sauce on top of it, and then I put the cheese on top of that, it will keep it from all soaking into the bread anyway. Watery pizza sauce. I think this year when I make more pizza sauce, I'm going to spend a little more time making it a little less watery. the rest of it in a pot and boil it down, and then we can kind of dip it in there. I feel like that's what I'm gonna do. Mr. Waters cut the cheese, so we're having a lot of cheese. Super, so much cheese. That's what you want, right? All the cheese. Okay, we're gonna fry them up. I'll reduce this down into like a dipping sauce. Yes. A little too done, just saying. Shh. Okay, still got one more cooking bit. I am impatient, so I'm gonna try this. It's pretty good. Look at that. The pepperoni in there. I'm gonna dip it in the pizza sauce. That's pretty good. I don't think there'll be much stopping to review this. This is pretty yummy. Pizza grilled cheese. Awesome in my book. For lunch today, I am going to use a suggestion from Sarah Grant. She said harissa sauce with apple jelly on meat. I'm gonna just try it on this paneer. Excuse my fingers are dirty. I've been out in the garden. So I'll wash my hands in a moment. So I'm gonna use this apple jelly that I have and this harissa sauce that I canned. This harissa sauce is definitely in the Ball book of canning. I make it with, you know, it's like a pepper sauce, spicy pepper sauce, and I just like it, a lot. I might go grab some more from the basement just because I don't have a ton here. And the recipe calls for 4 tablespoons. I'm just gonna slice up this paneer. Probably will do all of this, and it's 348 grams or 12 ounces of paneer. The other cheese I might use is halloumi cheese, but halloumi cheese is a lot saltier. And I like this when you're using strong flavored sauces because it doesn't have much of it's a mild taste. So this is my apple jelly. I'm gonna mix equal parts apple jelly and harissa paste together, and then I'm going to mix that together with my slices of paneer and let it sit for a while, maybe an hour. I do have quite a bit of it still in the basement that I made in 2020. So much so that it might make it into the pantry challenge for 2023. I would like to use it up. So there it is. It's a beautiful spicy pepper kind of sauce. I'm gonna use 4 tablespoons of the harissa sauce and then 4 tablespoons of the apple jelly. Not sure exactly how thick to make them. That seems too thick. You don't want them to fall apart. But they are quite like a thick cheese. So they're not just gonna fall apart. I feel like they got smaller as I went along. Paneer. I'm gonna try a 1/4 cup and a 1/4 cup. Let's see if that seems like enough. It's got a 1/4 cup of harissa. I want to just use up that jar, so I've got maybe another almost tablespoon, like a 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon. That's what I've got. And apple jelly, and about another maybe tablespoon. So 1/4 cup and a tablespoon of apple jelly. This might be a little bit hard to mix together because the apple jelly is quite stiff, quite jelly-y. I think it'll go. Definitely. Yeah, this is just gonna take some time. Just gave that a quick taste and it is spicy. I mean, your harissa depends on what level of spicy your peppers are. So it's just the right spicy and super sweet from that apple jelly. I'll tell you what, it tastes awesome. I don't know about all these paneers, but I'm gonna try and fit them all in here. Woo, spices. Try and get them coated without making a horrendous mess, which might be interesting. You know, I know, might not be the way you would have done that. That's what I got going on. Just cover all the harissa with the yummy sauce. Now that I have a little taste of that, I really want to get this in the frying pan. The apple jelly doesn't really break down, but it certainly will when I go to fry it. No escaping. No escape. All right, I'm just gonna leave that for a little while, kind of stir it up occasionally. I can't wait for that. Okay, I left them for about 2 minutes on that side, on one side. Once it got up to high, those look pretty good. That's the other side. Yummy. These ones out here didn't get quite as browned, but the other side's okay. Ah, yummy. Have a little bit of extra sauce in the bowl still. Just that you can put on top of them. Otherwise, they're pretty good looking. They're not as crispy as I would have wanted to do them. Paneer, harissa paneer with apple jelly. Harissa and apple jelly paneer for lunch. Pair that with a nice salad and you're good to go. Let's try it. It should be hot. Paneer is nice and soft. It could be a little softer. Oh no, it's good. Nice and hot. Squeaky cheese. Love it. Squeaky cheese. Reminds me of the cheese we put in poutine. That sauce is so good. I can see putting that apple jelly harissa sauce on a ton of stuff. It is spicy and so sweet. So good. Yeah, I can see how it would go on chicken for sure. Oh, yummy. It would even make a good like barbecue sauce. Oh, pork. No, make a good rib sauce. Yeah, I could do a lot with that. Apple jelly and harissa. Yep, but this is yummy too. Thumbs up. That makes me want to get like some chicken wings and do chicken wings with that sauce. Yes. Thank you, Sarah Grape, for the suggestion. I would definitely try that on some meat. For dinner tonight, I'm going to try to make a recipe that my mom used to make, actually made for quite a long time, called Hamburger Soup. She did pass down a version of it to me, but originally it came from the Best of Bridge cookbooks, which she loved. And actually I enjoyed quite a bit too, because they had those cool little snippets or sayings at the bottoms of the page. They were always pretty funny. She loves the Best of Bridge cookbooks. I don't know if she still does, but the hamburger soup recipe was a winner and was made a lot. When I looked online, they have a new version of the recipe that is a slow cooker recipe. The older recipe used cans of consomme and cans of tomato soup, and the new recipe that they have uses tomato sauce and cans of tomatoes and other things in a slow cooker kind of way. I'm going to kind of combine both of those. I'm going to use the new recipe ingredients, but I'm not going to cook it in a slow cooker. I'm just going to cook it on the stovetop, probably at least 2 hours. The longer you can cook it, probably the better it would be. I don't have any fresh carrots, but I've got some frozen carrots that I'm going to use. I've got 1.5 pounds of ground beef, some pearl barley, some cornstarch. I've got my own crushed tomatoes. Since we're cooking up our cans, I'm going to use this big thing of crushed tomatoes and this pint of tomato sauce that I have. 1 onion, some beef broth, soy sauce, bay leaves, salt and pepper, and a little bit of sugar. And here is some celery and an onion. Did I say onion? Anyways, those are the ingredients that we're going to turn into hamburger soup from the Best of Bridge and my mom. That's 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Throw some salt and pepper in there. Let's see. And salt. This thing. And salt. Now the recipe said fry up all this stuff in a separate pan and then, I don't know what, drain it maybe, but my beef is lean ground beef and I don't want to lose all the flavors from all the veggies and everything, so I'm just going to do it in the same pot so I don't have to transfer it. I'm looking at it's mostly just juices. It's not a lot of fat, so I might not even drain it. And I have these carrots, frozen carrots that are a little bit bulky, but I don't think it's gonna matter. They're hard to chop up when they're frozen. So I'm just gonna put them in. Here they go. Yummy carrots. They're a little big. They'll be fine. It'll be fine. 1 bay leaf. Half a cup of pearl barley. That's 1/4 cup. Half a cup. Tablespoon of sugar. 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. A whole lot of beef broth. About 3½ cups of beef broth. This thing isn't quite 1,000 milliliters, so 900 milliliters is what I put in. Then we want to cook out some cans. So I've got these crushed tomatoes with the juice. And this tomato sauce. Ooh, whoops. There we go. And some tomato sauce. Oh, that's a lot of soup, boy. There are 2 empty jars. I love empty jars. They're like just sitting there full of potential. So 2 more empty jars. Cooking up my cans. All right. We're gonna let that go uncovered. I think it should be good. Just on a simmer. This is making the whole house smell so amazing. I did kind of take off some of the oil from the top a little while ago, and I added some more water because it was starting to get a bit low, but it's looking really good. Gotta watch it because it kind of gets a little stuck to the bottom. Like right now, it's a little stuck to the bottom. It doesn't make me happy. Probably if it was in a slow cooker, it wouldn't do that. There's the basil from my tomato sauce jar. It smells so good. Did I say that too much? I'll tell you what, it smells a little sweet and tomatoey. I should check it to see if it needs a little more salt, because the tomatoes that I can and the tomato sauce that I can also doesn't have salt in it. But I feel like I put salt in there, so it should be okay. And I set the timer for 3 hours, and I have an hour and a half left. And maybe it was a mistake not draining the fat from the ground beef before I added everything, but I've just been kind of like skimming the top. Oh, I let this go for 3 hours. You know, I wouldn't normally put cornstarch in my soup while it's cooking, but it did kind of gel it up quite nicely. Hamburger soup. Thank you to the Best of Bridge. And a shout out to my mom who likes this recipe and the Best of Bridge. Let's have some soup. Okay, that was 3 hours on the stove. It's still super hot. Very steamy. Looks really good. It does say that this soup freezes really well, and I think I might do that. I think we could have it for dinner for a couple of nights. If there's any left over, you could freeze it. But it does freeze. I have frozen this soup before. Freezes really well. And then I've got this loaf of bread from that flash food app where I got those cheap loaves of bread. So I have some bread with soup as well. Oh, it's nice and thick. And then you just season to taste. Lovely. Let's give it a try. Got some nice bread. Well, that was good. I thought it wasn't going to be salty enough. I did add some salt. And then, the soy sauce. Yeah, that's pretty salty too. Dipping some bread in there. It's a very nice hamburger soup. Now for a couple of dinners, using up my canned crushed tomatoes and one jar of tomato sauce. Those are the meal ideas I had for cooking up my cans this week. And this is what is left of the jars that I brought up to use in the cooking up my cans. I've still got quite a few jars left. And of course, I have many more canning jars in my actual pantry. So I'm going to keep going with this series, posting whenever I have some great meal ideas for cooking up my cans. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe by clicking my face. I'll post a link to the entire playlist of cooking up my cans right here, and maybe the pantry challenge where I also used a lot of my jars home canning in a lot of my cooking. I appreciate you being here. Bye.